Hi everybody, welcome again to a new live space for INB. As you know, maybe already, we started doing the live space during the first lockdown to keep on informing our members, since it wasn't possible to do it physically anymore. So now we have the online live space. We will keep on doing this because we think it's an easy way to inform you and inspire you. Maybe I will give a quick word about INB, what we do. We are the Association of Interior Designers in Belgium. This means that we are a supportive association for our members, the interior architects, interior designers. And we do this with administrative or juridical support, but also events like this one, but also live events that can take place again. There is soon going to be a new tool that we will give to our members to gain more visibility towards potential clients. So that's exciting. It's coming up soon. I will not tell more, but just keep an eye on our website and the newsletter because it's going to be very interesting. This can all be possible because of our partners. And today I'm going to talk about with a partner, and that is AGC Glass. And I have Sandra here with me. I'm going to add her here. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Thank you, I'm very fine. Let me first introduce, well, maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit before we start the presentation.
Yes, sure. So as a background, a technical background, I am an architect, but I did a specialization on glass, the School of Architecture Hernancy that specializes in glass. And I've been working for the past 6 years in the glass industry. I am the product manager for decorative product at AGC Glass Europe. Today I will be talking about tips on how to use glass in design and different kind of products we can offer.
Okay, super. Let me add the presentation again, and then we can start talking about decorative glass, because it's going to be more the decorative aspect today, right?
Yes. The idea is really also to show you examples of projects. We hope this is going to inspire you and to show you how to combine different type of glass in your design. And if you have any question, don't hesitate as well to ask me during this live. Otherwise, any of our consultants will be also happy later on to reply to you, as we have them in all different countries of Europe.
Okay, super. First, we're going to start with back-painted glass. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So sure, back-painted glass is quite an interesting glass material. As its name sounds, it's basically painted on the back of the glass, taking out the translucency of the glass and becoming an opaque color. The advantage also of back-painted glass is a different type of materiality you can have, because you can have glossy aspects, which with the glass, and you also can have a matte aspect. We call those metallic. Basically, is an acid etch treatment that's been done on the top surface of the glass, and it gives some kind of asperity in the and matte, let's say, finishes to the glass compared to the glossy one, which we call lacobel.
Yes, I wanted to go to this one because here you can see the different textures.
Exactly. So here we have, so basically this is our new collection. Here we have pink nude on the walls, is a lacquered glass, and the other one is a green sapphire, is actually acid etch. And you can see that the pink one is completely, there's some reflection due to the glossy aspect, and in the matte one you don't see it. And what is very interesting as well is you can play with two color tones and mix it with other material. In this case, for example, wood. to give like different atmosphere. So in this rendering, because I have to explain, these are actually rendering. When we have a new collection, we don't have any project realized yet by designer or architect. So we try to represent in image what can be actually done to inspire people. And it's also very interesting because we have in our research center a department specialized in rendering for glass. So it's a tool that is very accurate, take into consideration the lighting and the coloring of the glass. So we can also do prototyping. I'm mentioning this because this can also be of interest for specific projects. For example, to designer that this service exists as well.
So if I have a project, I can come to you and ask you for to help with the rendering and look at the right translucency or the right finish of the glass in collaboration with your colleagues then.
Well, there are two steps. First step maybe will be to get in contact with one of our consultants. Another step is you can go on the website, have a look at the brochure, etc. But if you contact our consultant, they will be happy to help you, of course, give you more detail, especially if you're looking for light transmission, light reflection indices, etc. And they can also provide you with sample. Of course, the rendering services is, let's say, it has a certain cost. So normally these kind of services are more used for the facade. Today we're talking about decorative glass, but we also do glass for the facade, and we can also do coating on demand, etc. And this tool is helping us define specific color on the coating facade. But of course, I think I will say is mainly for bigger projects. It can totally be foreseen as well, where we can do the rendering images as well for you. To give you an idea of how it will look like.
Okay, I'm going to quickly go back to this one because you are saying something about facades, because that's another part of the back-painted glass is that you have the toughened version as well, which can, I think, be used in an interior as well. It's not just for facade.
So actually, it's also called tempered glass. Tempered glass is it's written treatment that is being given to the glass. So it's a glass that it's been reheated, and this hot glass has been very quickly cooled down, giving it a very strong property. So to give you an idea, it's 4 times more resistant than a normal glass. That's very important, of course, for exterior application. You need to have this tempered glass. This is why we always recommend it for outside application. And the reason is because it's also called a safety glass. Why safety glass? Is because when it's going to break down, it's actually going to break down in small pieces instead of very long and sharp chunk pieces of glass, like the normal glass, what we call flat. To maybe visualize, I don't know if you have already seen a bus shelter who's been broken down. Sometimes there are vandalism, and you see very tiny dots. So this is tempered glass.
So it doesn't hurt as much.
Yes.
When broken, it doesn't damage.
And it's actually a regulation. It's a regulation for building. This is why for the facade, normally spandrel application, we use tempered glass. But of course, because it's a more resistant glass, it can be used as well for kitchen splashes, other application in the interior.
Yeah. Okay. So just not just facades. There's a whole range of possible ways of using it.
This is the beauty of back painted. You can choose the texture. You can also choose the treatment. Very important for designer to know. The temperable glass cannot be cut. So once it has been heat treated, it has because if you cut, it will cut in small pieces. So it has to be cut size, which means the design has to be done beforehand. Cut size on the measure, then it's straightened. tempered and by a processor, and then it can be applied. This is why we're also working with processors that have been certified by ourselves, because to temper glass is quite a certain process, and we prefer to give to our clients validation of clients. We actually follow them up every year. We give them the certification. We go to their line to make sure they do it properly, etc., to assure also the quality of the glass.
Okay, super. I'm going to this slide now because it shows that there is a big range in your colors.
Yes.
For the matte lac. It's a different topic now, but yeah.
No, I really like this picture because it was actually a very fun day. So this picture was taken, we had AGC Deco Academy, luckily just before COVID. And basically this is how we do our collection. We invite interior designer, furniture maker, and also glass transformators. So the people who knows also how to transform and cut glass. And this is very important because all these different experts, they have different needs in glass. And for us, it ensures us a way of having a really good, if I can say, collection. And it's a way also of working in collaboration with professionals. So it's a very fun event. Actually, this event, we had a moon board, different teams, and we worked around it. And this is how we actually have come up with a new Lacobel and Matelac range, which is actually composed of 24 color of lacquered glass and 15 color of Matelac. So quite a vast range, yes, indeed, in terms of coloring.
Yes, so there's something for every project, mainly. Yeah. So this is part of the new color range. The next 4 slides, I believe.
Yes, so we try to divide them in lifestyle, what we call lifestyle, to give some idea of moods of how you can play and how you can use glass with other materials in a room. So you have, for example, this one is a minimalistic trend. It's very light tone, very calm. The palette is going to be more white colors, and you have this subtle blue, which is the ice blue, and so on.
And this one we already had. Sorry that I'm going from front to back.
No problem.
Going to this one then. This is a little bit more luxurious. Also one of the trends that you see. Do you work with a special trend watching agency to do this, or is it mainly visiting fairs and keeping an eye out?
Both. So visiting fair, of course. We were recently at Salone del Mobile. It's a very important event for us, of course. We have many clients there, and it's also giving the trends in general for deco. We also work with our clients. It's very, very important to get feedbacks from a direct client that can be transformator or furniture maker, but also indirect clients such as architects, interior designers. And on top of that, we work with color experts. So color experts agency that help us as well on the trends.
Okay. This is the last, I think, from the trend mood boards. Can our members watch the trend boards or these palettes on your website?
Yes, they can. No, they can. We have everything on the website. You can order the brochure for free. We also have a very nice commercial video where we actually explain our AGC Deco Academy. It's very fun to see how designers are playing around. It was a really good event, and I really hope to open it to in the coming years to other designers. So this can be also an opportunity for you if you want to collaborate with us and AGC. And you can, of course, always order the samples and other things on our AGC store. Okay. So it's a web shop. We have a part. So one thing is a website, and then we have an AGC store when you can order everything related to our product as well, such as cleaning materials and so on.
Yes, because in terms of cleaning, it's actually very easy. Cleaning the lacquer bell.
Back painted glass is very easy to clean because of its surface. This is one of the advantage of lacquered glass. It's a non-porous material, so basically you can just put a sponge, or it's really easy to clean, and this is an advantage for public spaces. But you know that glass, especially acid etch glass, you have to be careful what type of chemicals you put on it, because you could actually damage also the surface of the glass. This is why we always recommend to have a look in our technical guidelines what to use, and you can always go on our website to check the products. You can order them online. It's kind of an Amazon store of glass, but you can order them. And you can also, which is very nice, we have many videos as well on how to clean, how to use it, how to install. So for tips as well on how to properly install the glass, yes.
Okay, super. I think this one is also a little bit in the same direction. It shows that you can easily clean it, because you're not going to write on the wall, usually to not clean it afterwards if you want to get rid of your notes. So I think this is a very good example of thinking outside the box with glass.
Indeed, the advantage of in that case is a lacquer bell, right? The advantage of that is that you can put a metallic board on the back, and it becomes a magnetic lacquer bell. So you can use it as an interactive board to pin up things on. And of course, all the lacquer bell, even without the metallic board behind, you could write it on and delete. So the advantage of that is used mainly in schools. And this is actually a picture from our office. It's quite fun. I'm seeing my colleague there. But the advantage of this, it gives also different, let's say, function to the space. And we see now that with COVID, especially people at home, they have to engineer themselves to make a space that does everything. So the advantage of back painted glass compared to plain paint is that you can really use it either as a decorative wall because of the color itself, but you can also use it as a writing board.
Yeah, so the multifunctionality is key here. Yeah. This is another very nice example of the nice colors that you have in your range.
Yes, this project is actually a project that was done by Rio Architect in UK. Here, I think we have approximately 800 square meters of lacquered glass, because you can see the red panel it's quite huge. Actually, this was something that the architect really wanted to put to have this really strong color. The idea was because the facade is completely glazed, if you can see from the one side of the picture, that it becomes a landmark. So when people get close to it, they see the red and they recognize from the outside, they see the inside red and they recognize the building. Yeah. Colors, especially in back painted, are much more easy to put in like this kind of, I will say, offices and lobby areas and public offices. Of course, this kind of strong color are very powerful. So it's different when you put it in your homes on in your sitting room, for example. But it works very well to activate a space, for example, in this project. Yeah.
Another aspect that might be important is since you can use it for facade, or maybe in this instance as well, where there is a lot of light, that is also that there is a UV resistancy level to the lacquer bell.
Actually, this is a good point, because all our products are tested on the lab scales, and temperable glass. Well, both are resistant to UV, but if you're looking for a specific glass that is highly resistant to UV, I will recommend the temperable version, because temperable version are glass that are used for the facade, and of course, the glass that is put on a facade is much more exposed to sunlight, and so the paint for temperable glass, in that sense, are very strong and really resistant to UV treatment. So this is also let's say a product, in fact, that is an advantage compared to other type of materials such as paint, etc.
If a designer has chosen a color out of the sample box, can you give them the specific RAL or NCS number as well, so they can coordinate it in paint or other things?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. We don't openly disclose it on the website, but if they contact on or call consultants, of course, we can give them the raw color. It can also work the other way around. So we have a collection. Every normally 4 years, we renew the collection because of trends and because of the market. You have to follow up the tendencies, let's say, the design. But it can go on the other way around. So it means if a designer is looking for a specific color, and this is we have as well a customized service. So designer can give either a RAL, a Pantone code. It can also be a piece of paper. We had the case. There was a designer who had this. I think it was a velvet piece of tissue, and he needed to have the same exact color for the wall covering. Yeah. So he actually sent it to us. We were matching the color. We did a sample. Of course, we always do a sample lab scale. Yeah. We send it to the designer to confirm, and if the designer validated, then we can produce it, of course, an industrial size, and do the order. So in that sense, it's very interesting because it gives flexibility to architects and designers.
Yeah, but it's more for bigger projects, I presume.
Yes, it is. We have a limitation to 300 square meters in 6 millimeter. Of course, we can do lower than that. I say 6 millimeter because, for example, if it's 430. But we can do even lower than that in square meter, but then the cost will be super high. Yeah. We can do it. The question is always, the smaller size meter squares you're asking, the higher the impact of the price. Yeah.
You are talking about 4 millimeters and 6 millimeters. Those are the thicknesses that you provide. Are there other specifics that designers need to take in consideration?
So basically, we can do 3 to 12. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. All of these thicknesses are possible. I will say that the most standard is normally 6 and 8. And again, it depends. In some application, for example, in acid etch, what we call Matilux, we have a lot of designers who like to have cover top. This is really nice for table, very long table in glass. Mm-hmm. And there we have a specific glass color that's called linea azzurra, and we can even go up to 15 centimeter because it's quite thick and it looks much more impressive on a cover top table. Yeah. So basically, yeah, sorry.
Yes, in terms of width and length, is there a limit? There probably is a limitation, but
yes, the limitation is due to the plant itself.
Yeah.
So we go from the standards is 225 centimeters or 255 centimeters. Sorry, in the business we talk centimeters, but you can convert is like 2.25 m, 2.55 m. By 3.21 m. This is a standard, but we can go up to 6 meter. Okay. Yeah.
Super. So this project that we see now, this is an example of the customized Matlac.
Yes.
Talk about the project.
This is sorry for cutting you. I'm I'm an architect by background, so I really love talking about projects, especially especially with back painted. So this is actually a very interesting project because it was designed in collaboration with Chapman Taylor, which is quite a big firm in UK. And in covering of, you can see here, this is just the lobby area, but in the building itself, we were covering 1,200 meters square in lacquered glass, which is impressive. Especially because the architects were looking, and this is a beauty also of glass. It's not only flat and you can give them shape and texture. And so the architects here were looking to have kind of a ceramic effect. So making different lacquered glass, different colors, and having this pattern effect. So here we were actually working with them on on-demand color. So we work to choose a different color. We had some sample made, and they come up with this very nice different white and yellow, which is covering the entire space and give this very nice brick effect.
And I suppose that the advantage here is also that they can integrate the parts where you can have the light behind.
Yes.
I think that must be the reason why Lacobel was on the list, or the choice of material here.
So the advantage is they combine two materials. So Lacobel is back painted, so it's the opaque one. You see the yellow and the white. And they use also some acidate, Matellux glass that is acidated, and it gives this kind of opaque, but at the same time you have some lights going through, and you can put the lighting behind. So yes, we're playing with different type of glass.
We're going to move on to next chapter. I'm going to call it a chapter. Mirrors, which is also something that can transform a room, but there is much more to just a mirror.
I think what might be interesting to know for designer is to look at the type of mirror in the market, because mirror looks like a very simple material. So basically, it's a layer of silver that has been spurted on the glass. But this is for the simple explanation. But the stack. So what is behind the glass actually is a stack of layers, quite complex. And the difficulty nowadays in producing mirror is really to work on the composition and work with suppliers to obtain environmental friendly products. So at AGC, we started working on that for quite a long time because we have a very strong environmental policy, and we launched the MNG, which is our first ecological mirror. Nowadays, it becomes our standard mirror. Basically, it's a mirror that had less than 3% lead content. So lead is actually very important in the fabrication of mirror because it avoids the corrosion. I don't know if you look at the corner of very old mirror and you have some spot on the sides. This is what it creates. So normally they put lead in the mirror, but now we have techniques to reduce it and to make mirror that are not corrosive, that didn't, let's say, with time get the effect of corrosion without having lead. And this is what we have developed with foregrain. This is if I can say, a higher standard mirror, which is completely lead-free and is also a very interesting product to use to design when you need to comply with building certifications such as 3M, etc., and so on. And on top of that, also we have all our decorative products are certified cradle to cradle. Maybe I will explain a little bit.
Yes, you can do that.
So Cradle to Cradle Institute is actually a non-profit organization that certifies products that have a positive impact on the planet, on the people. This is a voluntary certification, so it means that AGC as a group doesn't have any obligation to certify its product as Cradle to Cradle. but we have choose since the beginning to go for this type of certification because we have a very strong value on environmental policy. And the second reason is because for us, this type of certification is very important because it's certified with 4 environmental category, so such as material material reutilization, water stewardship, and renewable energy. And on top of those environmental 4 category certification, they also include corporate social responsibility. So it means that it's a certification that happen on product every 2 years. It's actually quite heavy, and we have a department who is only specialized in that. But it also means that we have to work along all the value chain and the cycle of the product. Because if you are looking at the entire composition and reutilization of materials, it has to be everything included, all our supplier of components and paint, etc., and so on. This is why it's something very strong, but something that we are very proud of at AGC. And I think it's worth it to mention because nowadays people are more conscious about it. And so when you're choosing a mirror, it's very important to understand how it's made, what are the certification, and where it comes from, basically.
Yeah, and I think that for many people, this is not something that they know, that a mirror is, well, that there's actually much more to it. So I think it's very good that you point this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, at least we see it in the market. There's a conscience now starting to rise, and we even have customers who are, for example, in our case, we are providing 2 types of mirror because we know, of course, the 4 green, it's a premium mirror because of it has no lead content. But in terms of development, this has a cost because you have to include certain type of material, let's say, to cover it. So not all the clients are yet there, but this is why we have both. But we are trying to push as much as we can toward those kind of products because we really believe this is a future as well.
But the normal mirror as well as quite a low quantity of leads.
So the MNGE has only 0.3%. That's actually very low. It's much lower than even what's European regulation. So all our mirrors are environmental, if I might say. But on top of that, we have a specific mirror that has 0 lead content. And because we've been working, especially our research center has been working very strongly on it. And we're also trying to work on material reutilization on the plant and so on, because we also part of this cradle-to-cradle certification, which means that every 2 years we have to prove that we are improving and putting in place a lot of measure in our plant to have products that are getting higher standard in terms of environmental regulations. Yes.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, really. And now your products, they are all cradle to cradle?
Yes. So all the decorative products are cradle to cradle. The difference is the level you might have. So as I was saying, for example, the MNGE is going to have the bronze certification. But the 4 green, which is the leading in terms of environmental solution, it's actually silver. So it means it has been classified with a higher ranking in that sense. Yeah. But all our products, so all the ones you have seen there, and many of other I might not mention, are actually certified by this outside institute.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go back to the mirror. So you have here clear and extra clear. The extra clear is actually the 4 green, or am I wrong?
So actually the clear and extra clear is the substrate, what we call the base of the glass. And then you can put the mirror on both. So basically we can have MNG and 4 green in both. So not only you have 2 types of mirror categories, but you also have type of substrate. And this I can show you. I have here some samples.
Okay, let me make you bigger.
Yeah.
One second. No, that's wrong. Like that.
Okay, perfect. So I'll try to do. So those are two samples of full green on clear and extra clear. Yeah, this is on extra clear and this one on clear. Extra clear, we call it clear vision. But so if you see it on the front, you see that it's the same, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see many difference, right? I will give you a tips to look as well on how to look at the mirror, because it's very important to look at the substrate. As I was saying, the substrate gives a coloration to the glass. So basically glass, when we create glass, it's sand. So basically it's melted sand, but depending on the composition of this sand, the glass might have a coloration or not. The difficulty in glass is, of course, to arrive to a neutrality of the color. And designer and architect are very interested about a neutral glass. And this is why we make a difference. And we can make actually a clear vision glass, which is a more neutral glass. And this you only see it when you're looking at the side of the glass. So I will try my best to maybe put it this way, close up. Wait, to make sure. You see here,
you can see it.
One is slightly more green than the other.
Yes. Yeah, that's clear.
And this is very important because for designer, this coloration, the fact that one is more green, you will not have the exact same reflection. So again, it's a question of design and what you're looking for. Yeah. And again, we have two clear base, but you can also have a bronze, a gray, and so I have here some examples. The difference of those is you can clearly see the impact on the front because of the coloration. But it's a question of choice of designers.
Yes. Let me go back to this one. So, like you say, the bronze, the gray, and the black mirror. But this slide is also quite an important one for your technical aspect, I think. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about that, what we can see here.
Yeah, so here basically, I don't know if you have, I think it will be quite interesting for any of you if you can visit a float line and a mirror line, because you learn a lot about really how the mirror is made, etc. and so on. People think everything is only mechanized. It is at a certain point, but in terms of quality of products, for example, for mirror and higher quality mirror, so when we are talking for full green, we really need to check the paint. So on the automized line, you always have, of course, automized detector who detect defect, cut the defected glass if there's a dot and throw it away to recycle. But sometimes even those tiny, very microscopic level, human eyes are even more equipped to see them. So for, let's say, higher standard of mirror, we always work with backlighting. And this is another trick you can do to check the quality of a mirror, is to put a light behind the mirror itself, because it's actually going to blow all the details. And if there is a very smooth, opaque surface paint, you will see it. If there is some dot, then it means that the quality is not the highest quality, and you will see it. So this is also a way we do to check quality. I mention it as well because one of the advantage we have as well of our full green mirror, which is our highest standard mirror, is that the paint is a specific paint that can be used for backlighted application. So backlighted applications, for example, when you remove part of the paint behind to put a lighting, so you have one part a mirror, then the light, and then a mirror. It's when you have this kind of application, it's very sensible to see the defect on the side. So this is why we really need to have high quality paint. We recommend the full green for backlighted application. And of course, on top of that, we have a strict control. And I like to show this image because it's a human side of it behind it, even at the industrial factory. So it's quite, I think, nice to
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Is this backlighting something that can be done with Lacobel as well, or is that more difficult?
We don't normally recommend it. It cool, but we will rather use it with other like mirror or Matilux, especially because back painted is an opaque. It's an opaque glass. So why will you put light behind? It's going to be opaque. So I will normally, depending. Maybe if you give me what exactly is the what you're looking.
I don't know if you want a detail like a light stripe or I don't. Well, yeah.
We don't recommend it. We don't recommend it with back painted for that kind of application. It's normally more used in mirror and in acid edge. Yes.
On the next picture, you can also see a part where you left a piece without a mirror, where the television is. That's the same principle, but without the light, but with the TV.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, basically has been the paint part has been removed in that place to place the in that sense a TV behind. So instead of a TV, you could have a light, for example. This is used a lot in a hotel. Indeed. What is interesting about mirror as well is the kind of design you can play, how to put mirrors together to create effects. So there are two tricks I see in this picture. The first one is putting a mirror side to side. So for example, on the corner or on the top, because mirror reflects. So you're gonna have infinite reflection. This is actually used by some artists. There's a very famous Japanese artist who do mirror boxes to give a space, to give the impression of more space. And there's another nice trick that has not been invented by us, has been used by architects for a long time. And the first I have in mind is actually the Mansart architect of Louis XIV, Roi Soleil, is to put a window in front of a mirror. So you have this, I'm mentioning Galerie de Glace in Versailles, because it's one of the first use of mirror in to increment space in front of a window. And here you have it. We see the corner of the window. It's reflected in the mirror, so it gives really a space. It seems that the space is bigger because it's reflected in the mirror. So mirror is a very nice material to play with space and open up spaces.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to move a little bit quick because we have a time frame for you. So this is the black mirror, which is also a super nice effect. I didn't know it, to be honest. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's really nice atmosphere here with the black mirror and the black paint and the details. So that's also very nice. The next one is shower applications and anti-corrosion glass. What exactly is that?
Okay, so anti-corrosion glass is a specific glass. It normally is for shower. So it's actually a coating that is invisible and permanent coating. We call it pyrolytic. It's just the way it's done is sputter on the glass. Which is a coating, permanent coating that is applied on the glass, and it will give a specific property to the glass. And the property of this coating is to give an anti-corrosion treatment to the glass. We use this glass for shower enclosures for the reason that glass in contact with water for a repeated number of time, then there's some corrosion that appear on the pane of the glass. And it will create some kind, sometimes you see some whitish spots. And this is due to the corrosion. This is why we always recommend for shower to use glass who has this coating application.
Yeah,
because it will last for a longer time. And as well, we can give, for example, at AGC, we give 10-year warranty on this glass.
Okay. So it's actually a very practical solution, but this is a very important aspect as well of design, that it has to be practical as well. Yeah.
Yes, this is why it's also very important, depending on what glass has many possibilities, depending on light transmission, texture, and application. We need to know where you want to put the glass to know and advise you which glass you should use or how. This is why we also have some consultants that are working with architects and contractors as well to specify on projects.
Okay. The next one is laminated colored glass. So this is with a foil in between two sheets of glass, right?
Correct. So what we call laminated glass, lamination is a technique in glass where you normally have two pieces of glass and PVB in the middle. The PVB is basically plastic. And this plastic will actually, when, of course, it's a complex technique, I will try to shorten up the process, but basically the plastic is going to stuck to the glass. It's bonds to the glass, which give the property of being, it gives a property of safety, because those type of glass, when there is a PVB interlayer, it can be one or many PVB interlayer with different type of glass, depending again on the type of application. It's a safety in the sense that when we try to break the glass, all the pieces of the glass, even if they break down, they will be stuck to the plastic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So lamination is normally used for balustrade application because there are some norms, for example, to avoid the body going through the glass and things like this. But sometimes we think about the safety, but we don't think about the aesthetic part behind it. And because today we're talking about decorative glass, laminated glass is also very nice to use for all the type of application where we have separation walls, and the PVB can also give a specific color. So this is why we have color foil, matte one, and we also have completely opaque foils as well that will give opacity of a product.
So these foils, these colored foils or matte foils, they can come in combination with the safety foil or the acoustic foil. Or is it the same foil?
It's the same foil. It's just there are different type of foil depending the application, of course. And laminated glass is also very good for acoustic because it absorbs. So you have many composition you can do with glass and lamination. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I suggest that if the viewers want to know more, they can contact AGC, because there's a lot to talk about with these foils that unfortunately we don't have the time for today, but they can always contact you or your colleagues. Huh?
Yes, for sure. We also have, because today we're trying to focus on deco, but laminated glass can also be bulletproof glass and so on. Yeah. So I have a colleague very specialized in type of lamination. But yes, this is some sample as well. This one in this case is also a rendering to give an idea how the brown of the PVB can give this coloration on partition walls.
And it's also a good example of what you said earlier about the prototyping that you do with the rendering, the light transmission and how it reacts with the glass. So this is a nice example of that as well.
Glass is a very difficult material indeed to render because of the property it has. There's light transmission, light reflection, and you need to have specific machine to measure, but I will not enter in detail. So indeed, we have a tool that is accurate rendering, and we can help in this type of process.
Okay. The satin finish, Can you go tell me about that? That's like the acid glass, or
It's
is it
acid.
different?
No, it's actually acid age glass. We just, like I explained, for the mirror, we can have different substrates. So it can be bronze, gray, or dark gray, and we can also have different type of opacity due to the texture itself. So if it's double-sided, so for example, double-sided means it has been acidated on both sides of the glass. And it's going to be much more, in that sense, opaque, but also you're going to have the texture on both sides.
Yeah, so you can play with the different translucencies and textures as well.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to go to the final tip, and that's the pattern glass. You told me earlier before the interview that you saw this coming back a lot. Nowadays, the textured glass.
Yes, pattern glass. I was explaining because last week it was Salone del Mobile, and Salone del Mobile, they tend to have quite a lot of different use and application of glass in furniture. So it's always very interesting to follow the trends and for us to also visit our client there, who are, some of them are furniture makers. And I was quite surprised, very innovative way of how they were actually applying pattern glass. So pattern glass is the same as other products, as I was explaining. You have different way. You have, first of all, you have different patterns. So at AGC, we have 31 standard pattern, and we have 45 on-demand pattern. And on top of that, we have the pattern on demand, where we can create a pattern for a specific project.
So a very big range.
Yes. Its possibility are really endless. But what is really interesting is how designers use them. So for example, at Salone del Mobile, we had one of our flute design. So flutes are some straight line.
Let me go back to this one. Yeah.
I think it's this one. It's maybe not really good on the camera. But we see the now trends a very linear, simple line. And there was a flute pattern. It was painted on the back, one of our customer, and acid H's on the top. And it was just, I mean, there was so much work on it, but it's just the final result was so fantastic, because you could not even know it was glass. It looks like another material because it was acid H and back painted, but it was really glass. So really, I recommend to look at samples and play with it, because there's many options. Yeah,
so basically, just if you can imagine it, it might be possible to achieve.
Yeah,
I think we that's what we have time for. So we had a lot of inspiration today. I hope that people will now think of a new way to use the glass. So I would like to thank you, Sandra, for joining us and give your very passionate talk. I'm sorry it's only an hour, because I know that you can talk about it for a long time more. So maybe we have to do another one. But I think it was really nice to see the projects that you showed. And if people have any more questions, do ask Sandra or AGC to assist you on your project. So,
thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to talk about glass, and I hope it has give you at least some inspiration, or show you possibilities. And looking forward to maybe work on with some of you on some projects.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see each other next time. Bye.